Chapter 19, April 8th, Unicoi County Memorial Hospital, Irwin, Tennessee. Miles hiked today, -4. Total miles hiked on the Appalachian Trail, 341. Weather, normal. We walked on. At No Business Knob Shelter, which we passed through Friday morning on our way to the Nolichucky River, Beagle had written, only 3 days before. Sometimes I think I have no business being out here. Good night, Catadin, wherever you are. I didn't know what got into Beagle sometimes. I wrote, mostly I know we have no business being anywhere else. Catadin. We hitched into Irwin, Tennessee for supplies. Mom and Vivian Trailhead and I ate a monster dinner at the Kentucky Fried Chicken's all-you-can-eat buffet. They must turn pale when they see hikers coming in, Trailhead said, licking his lips. When Mom and Vivi and I wanted to stay in a hotel, the Trailhead decided to go back to the trail. He had taken a semester off from teaching, but he had to be home for the start of the classes the last week in August. He knew exactly how many miles per day he needed to average to make it. He was getting worried because he had fallen behind. Mom told him not to worry. We'd hike farther later on when his body was stronger. But I think we were all worried because his knee was getting worse. Anyway, Trailhead left and we went to sleep. In the morning, Mom pointed out that the Nolichucky River had whitewater rafting. I said, why would we want to do that? She looked like she wanted to argue with me about it. And to be honest, I probably would have let her win. I was tired of hearing about it, and the day was pretty warm. But for some reason, she kept quiet, and we moved on. Down by the river, it was nice and flat, but then we started climbing. And after a few miles, we came to one of the steepest slopes we'd climbed so far. It was a real lung buster, and the fact that the weather had suddenly gotten hot didn't help at all. We all had hiking poles by now, and so we grabbed hold, dug in, and kept climbing. By the time we reached Curly Maple Gap Shelter, 4 miles from the river, we were bushed. Lunch, I said. We took off our packs and our boots and ate some real bread with some lovely fresh cheese. Bread doesn't keep well in backpacks, so a few days after a grocery stop, we always were down to stale bagels and crackers. Cheese doesn't last long either, but that's partly because I eat it all up. Mom reached into the top of her pack with a big smile. Here, she said. She opened a little plastic box of strawberries. They shone like red jewels. I put one in my mouth. Oh my, I said. Vivi took one next, then Mom, and then me again. We ate them one by one until they were gone. Beagle, I thought, I wish you could be here for this. We started walking again. The trail was flat for nearly a half mile along the ridgeline of a mountain, and then it started up again. We had only gone a little way when we found Trailhead doubled over in agony on the side of the trail, clutching his knee. It was his right knee, his good knee, and he had done something horrible to it. He told us he had tripped and thrown his weight sideways to try to save his sore knee, and instead his other knee had twisted beneath him as he went down. He had hurt himself a few hours ago and had come a quarter mile back down the trail on his own, little by little, dragging his pack. I was afraid to dump it, he said. I didn't know when someone would come. I thought I might be out here all night. We gave Trailhead a pull and helped him to his feet. He couldn't put any weight on his leg at all. His muscles were shaking and tears ran down his cheeks. Mom supported him. Can you hop? She asked. Have to, he said. He hopped and she held him up. He hopped again. I thought of that treacherous uphill climb. It would be worse going back down. Mom had taken her off her pack, counting Trailheads that left Vivi and me with 2 each. Trailheads was heavy. Suggestions? Asked Vivi. I couldn't see leaving any of the packs unless we had to. Who knew what we would end up needing? Who knew how long Trailhead could hop? Drag them, I said. We used our hiking poles to extend the frames into travees. I took some of our bungee cords and turned them into handles. We dragged the extra pack behind us. It dug up the trail, which I hated to do, but I didn't see we had much choice. I really didn't think I could carry 75 pounds. Hop, stagger, hop, hop, stagger, hop. Mom and Trailhead kept going. The hot sun beneath beat through the thinly leaved trees. Hop, stagger. We made it back to the flat part, but the going didn't seem any easier. Hop, hop. Trailhead's face was turning gray. We stopped and drank water. Hop, stagger. Back to the shelter now. Should I run ahead for help? I asked. Do you want to wait here? It was mid-afternoon. No, said Trailhead. Let's keep going. Mom looked at him. Picture your average ambulance crew, he said. Do you think for a minute that they're going to be able to carry me down this mountain? If it gets to be too much, say so, said Mom. She was sweating and grimy. Hop, stagger, hop, hop, stagger, fall. At the start of the steep section, Mom and Trailhead went down. I couldn't tell who fell first. Trailhead screamed. Mom held him, helped him up. She looked so unsteady that Vivi traded places with her for a while. Hop, stagger, hop. We had to be so slow, so careful. Hop, staggered. I tried to take a turn with Trailhead, but I was so much shorter than he was that I couldn't support him. Mom took over. Hop, stagger. The pack I was pulling kept clipping my heels. I had to lean backward to stay upright, and my toes jammed against the front of my boots. I could feel blisters starting where I'd never had blisters before. Then I saw the most welcome thing, a group of 3 other hikers coming toward us through the woods. I thought I recognized one of them. Beagle! I shouted. Below us, they looked up. 3 men, but not Beagle. I swallowed my disappointment. Help! I yelled instead. We need some help! They were stronger. They supported Trailhead more easily and could move him a little faster. They helped us pick up and carry the packs. When we got to the road, they helped flag down a car and told the driver to call an ambulance. They stayed right with us until the ambulance guy said he didn't have room to take us all to the hospital. We'll handle it, Mom told them. The men grasped Trailhead's hands and hugged the rest of us and stood on the road watching as the ambulance pulled away. Out the window, I saw them putting on their packs. I realized I had never even asked their names, trail or otherwise. At the hospital emergency room, they whisked Trailhead into a room and gave him some pain medicine right away. He was so exhausted, he fell asleep. A nurse brought some paperwork to Mom. I'm not his wife, Mom said. I can't do that. The nurse suggested Mom just fill out what she knew. Mom said, I don't even know his real name. We waited and waited for news. Hospitals always made me nervous, especially emergency rooms, for their air of tragedy. I hated to watch for bad news surrounded by strangers all waiting for their own bad news. I hated the plastic chairs. I hated the bad magazines. Mom reached over and took my hand. Vivi looked like she had fallen asleep. I said, Do you remember the day Springer broke his arm? Yes, she said. He had been 8 years old. He had just gotten his new wheelchair. He had shot too fast down our driveway, and the chair tipped when it hit the curb at the end. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he landed on his outflung arm. I pushed him, I whispered, down the driveway. I made him fall. I know, Mom said. I remember. She stroked my hair. You didn't know any better. You and he were playing, and you both thought it would be fun. I didn't mean to hurt him, I said. That had been the first day I really understood that I could, the first day I realized that I was stronger than Springer, and always would be. He knew that, Mom said. We sat for another hour, and someone came out and said Trailhead was asking to see us. He was wearing a light blue hospital gown, looked very dirty, very tired, and very, very brave. I blew my ACL, he said. Mom winced. I must have looked confused because Trailhead took my hand and explained that it was one of the ligaments in his knee. He said, Time for surgery. I'm done. He took off the religious medal he always wore around his neck, and he handed it to Vivi. Take that to Katahdin for me, will you? He sank back into the pillow and closed his eyes. Thanks. Thanks for everything. And don't worry now. I'll be fine. Mom said, your family? Trailhead didn't open his eyes. Wife will be here in a few hours. I'll be okay. As we started to walk out, he called, Danny? Yeah? Thanks for letting me get to know you. I've enjoyed it. Okay. We took up our packs and walked out into the cool night. Vivi said, got to be a motel near somewhere. Mom stopped suddenly and smacked her forehead. What day is it? April 8th. Vivi checked her watch. Yep, about 10 p.m. Why? Mom shook her head. Taxes. I forgot all about the taxes.